performance of the United Foundation across Bangalore. Just an information as people keep joining in, I thought I'll take this opportunity to share with you the actual vision and mission behind being extraordinary. We'll come to that as a session itself in probably, I think, in the seventh or eighth session, I'll be dealing with this part where a human being has to align with some purpose. Meanwhile, I would like to share this that the United Foundation is a Bangalore-based organization which has been established about 11 years ago as a platform itself for empowering youth. So this is the social work which happens is an outcome of the platform. The platform is there for engaging our youngsters, youth, professionals, so that we are able to do organized social impact. So currently, after the lockdown, we have had Mercy Kitchen established. We totally have 13 Mercy Kitchens, in which the United Foundation has the largest kitchen in Bangalore. And we've already, by God's grace, we've already dished out more than 1 lakh meals. And we also have, together with partner NGOs, delivered 44,000 kits till now, reasonably sized kits, which can last a family of 4 for about a month. So these are some of the activities currently happening. There are 2 aspects. One is the kitchens which are running to give freshly cooked food, which has been highly appreciated by the people. And also the kits delivered to houses which are desperately needy, daily wage workers and the very lowest of the low. And this entire mission requires a lot of support from people. This cannot happen without support, without your support. And I would urge you to be brand ambassadors of reaching out to your own circles in, in whatever way you can. Either at the moment we are discouraging people, especially the women folk, to come out on the field, while we have our own volunteers who are doing their extraordinary job. We urge you to be a part of this by being ambassadors, spreading the word, and trying to see how we can raise more funds, because the situation is pretty dire across Bangalore and requires a lot of support. So this is a bit I wanted to share with you all as an important thing which is happening right now. If you have any NGOs you know of who are working in silos, tell them to join us and join the Mercy mission, so that the effort is not replicated and the effort is focused in different areas, so that duplication is not there. So this is the first time a movement like this has happened in Bangalore, where even the central government, the state government has recognized us, saying that this was brilliant because you've reached out to the nooks and corners of Bangalore and done whatever best we could do. We've been currently funded by Azim Premji Foundation, and there's a Feeding India bolke jo Zomato ka wing hai. Those people have come forward and supported us. Ninja Cart has supported us. Compass has supported us. Atria Kitchens have supported us. So this was all possible because this was a united effort. So this is the power of being together. If you wish to connect back, you can contact anybody from the team. They will help you reach out and engage with the team, not only in the lockdown, even after that. We have a lot of initiatives we are doing. You can pick and choose the initiative you want to. And if at all you wish to donate, which I think a lot of people would like to donate, you can reach out to this account number. You can also reach out to somebody in the United Foundation. You can also join the United Foundation and volunteer. Even sitting at home, you can do a lot. And this is what a human being needs to do at this kind of a juncture in life, where you've seen people who are from the daily wage working segment are hit the maximum right now. So this is a bit about the foundation we are running, and this has become a phenomenon across Bangalore, and we urge you to support and join in whatever way you can. Moving on to the assignments, I had given an assignment, or you call that good work at home, where I urged you to write 3 limiting beliefs and 3 empowering beliefs you have in every single aspect or every single area of life. So I request Sister Shifa to kindly unmute and request some of you to please share some of the limiting beliefs. You did not share everything, which you can comfortably share in the open forum for the benefit of others. You're welcome to share. You can share whatever limiting belief. There's a concern, I will coach you on it. Otherwise, if the limiting belief has been identified or the empowering belief has been identified, so I will be able to endorse that, saying that yes, this is one of the empowering beliefs or this is one of the disempowering beliefs. So you can either share an empowering belief or a disempowering belief which you currently hold, and this is a benefit for the others so that we can work on it. So go ahead, anybody raising the hand, unmute them, sister, so that we can listen from them. Different areas of life, 6 areas have been written down here. In that, any 3 empowering or any 3 disempowering beliefs can be shared, and which you feel comfortable to share. All right, let's end with that. We'll move forward. I think we've got quite a bit of different kind of views on areas of life, and checking out and trying to discover how there are empowering beliefs inside us as well as disempowering. These things we have picked them up either consciously or unconsciously, right? Human beings are constantly absorbing. We are like the sponge. Whether it is good water or bad water, we do not discriminate, we just absorb. But if the sponge decides that I do not want to absorb any bad waters, then that's the journey of excellence, when you step in and say, no, from today onwards, I am very precious. I don't want any muck inside me. I want to have the best inside me. And that's when you will start choosing beliefs and start repairing beliefs which are not very supportive. So we went through this. I'm just taking you as a refresher, right? So we understood that habits are not what you need to work on. You have to work on your beliefs and values, right? In that, transformation always happens. Change happens when you work with the beliefs. That's why we are trying to identify what are actually beliefs. Belief is a gut feel. It's a sense of certainty. It's a feeling of surety inside us, right? So I also shared this picture with you, which looks a bit complicated, but it's very simple. So I'll just take you through this. You have an external event. When an external event happens, there's a lot of information which is coming to you. And then there is a process inside our nervous system which allows us to filter this information, right? Some of it is distorted, some of it is deleted, some of it is falling into generalization and stuff like that. And finally, what is absorbed is called what is represented in chunks. And that is what reinforces or aligns with your beliefs or disaligns with your beliefs. You either accept it or reject it, or align with it. And that's what creates internal representations, and that's what creates a state, a person state. If you remember my first episode, I've been talking about this word state. If you're able to understand, if you are either carrying a lot of empowering beliefs or disempowering beliefs, your state is going to be highly influenced by that. And that is going to affect your physiology and your behavior and the habits. So this is the cycle of what happens to a human being. So any external experience is not actually taken in its format. It is represented to ourselves. So every single human being has a different experience. Now, there are 3 ways we filter this information. I want you to be very focused on this slide. This is a very important slide. 3 ways. The first way, there are no, prioritization. Any of these things can kick in, right? The first way is deletion. I'm specifically talking about sentences right now, because sentences and words are what are the roots of creating experiences inside our conscious and unconscious mind. The first thing what happens is called deletion, right? Deletion is when you're standing and watching a particular situation, you don't get the 100% information. Some of it is deleted. Some of it is naturally allowed to pass, right? So in that's how people represent a lot of different information. Now, first of all, they could be, I'll give you an example of deletion. The moment you say, I can't find my keys, what happens? you usually have this experience, right? You can't find something very commonly available with you, and you start searching all around and you can't find it until you find it right in your pocket, right? So what happened? I can't find my keys kind of a sentence creates a deletion inside your brain. It deletes a lot of information. Probably your memory of keeping the key in with you also is deleted. I can't do this. For example, a lot of people who are scared or to take charge of something or have a lot of fear about some particular act always keep telling about the same act in this format. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Right? So I didn't see this. All these are examples of deletion. These are not the only examples. I'm just giving you a few examples, and these can be then transformed into beliefs over a period of time. If it is done regularly, it can transform. So these are very dangerous kind of situation, or these are dangerous kind of sentences, especially the one which says, I can't do this. The moment you say that, you're making yourself completely disempowered. You will not even attempt it, right? So this is one of the things you need to be careful about. These are disempowering deletions. And the other one is, how can you use deletions? There's a power of deletion available inside you, right? The brain has this power of deletion. Now, how can you use this deletion to empower you? So always you should look at, anything which you have should be taken as a blessing. Most of us don't understand this aspect. Some people come to me and say, I have a problem of procrastination. I have a problem of postponing things. I say, fantastic. They say, what do you mean? Procrastination, postponing is a very bad thing, right? I say, no, it is fantastic. It's a great, asset you have. Postpone all the wrong. So you can use your habit or belief for postponing to your support. You can postpone anything which you want to do, which is not that good or not productive or wrong. Postpone it to tomorrow and day after. See, you can always look at every single thing inside you as a blessing, right? So the other thing is generalization. This is a killer. This is, you're available across I've seen a lot of people. In fact, I was going to generalize right now. I was about to say, I see this across everybody. So that's a generalized statement. So using statements which have all, everyone, everybody, every time, nobody, always, like just Ajmal was, expressing, saying that nobody understands me. It's a blanket statement. All women are bad drivers. All men are cheats. These are generalized statements. These can highly disempower somebody. And if you see this, we copy this from the environment, right? So first level, I'm trying to share with you how we filter information, which is important for us to know, right? So this is generalization. This is disempowered generalization. Formats are, nobody understands me. Everybody always behaves like this negatively with me. Everybody is all the women are bad people. All the men are bad people. All the religions are bad. The people from this country are bad. Mangaloreans are like this, or Madrasis are like this. All these are generalized statements. These are very dangerous. Mostly ordinary people, I told you about the 80%, they all carry these generalized statements. Most of them carry these generalized statements. So how can you turn this around? Everyone loves me. Convert that entire thing. You already have generalization inside your nervous system. You can't get rid of it. Use it. How do you use it? Just convert it. You use everyone, everybody to make it into a very empowering state for you. Everybody loves me. And you see, actually, people start loving you. If you have this belief that everybody loves me, people who have this belief, everybody hates me, end up doing things which make people hate them. Are you getting the point? So similarly, everybody loves me will make you do things which make people love you. Everything happens for a purpose. What an empowering statement, generalized statement. All men are nice people. All women are great people. Things like that. All Indians are great. You will start doing things which are going to be productive for you. Forget there might be bad people in the world, but then you will focus only on the good ones. The third aspect is distortion. Information represented inside a nervous system sometimes is distorted. What is distorted? It's not specific. It is very incomplete in nature. For example, I am a failure. Somebody saying this, I am a failure. Don't you think it is completely unspecific? He rejected and ignored me. My head is exploding. Some people have a headache and they start talking. My head is exploding. Every single of this kind of a distorted statement will lead you to disempowering belief. It is going to reinforce the disempowering belief. And then you're going to actually experience that. Person who has a mild headache, if you keep telling, my head is exploding for the next 10 minutes, what is going to happen to your headache? Your physiology, your state, everything is going to support, and it's really going to be an excruciating headache, right? So distortions, because they are not measured. I'm a failure. Failure in what, boss? How can you pass a blanket statement about failure? You must have failed in one thing. That doesn't make you a failure, right? Converting a verb into a noun is a very dangerous thing here. Failing is a verb. I failed in creating a program, or I failed in cooking biryani. But that doesn't make me a failure, right? So this is some way in most of the 80% of the world's population try to structure their sentences, and they actually learn. How do you convert distortions into positive, into empowering distortions? I am very fortunate. I am very lucky. I am very happy. I mean, even this is not defined, right? But it can help you in a big way. So just to give you these are a few examples. This is a huge study. Deletion, generalization, and distortion, all available inside us, is a very huge study, right? What I'm doing with you all is just touching the tip of the iceberg. But this is, whatever is shared right now is going to be very useful for you. Now, how do you go forward with this information? You have this information, and then you have your limiting beliefs. I can't speak in public, for example, or I can't cook well. I can't drive a car. I can't. Statements are all disempowering beliefs, right? And they all have come because of certain opinions or certain statements or certain experiences, right? For example, I can't drive a car. Some people have a problem driving. Or I can't ride a bike. They can drive a car, but they can't ride a bike. So that habit is not coming in because they have a belief, very strong belief. And that could be installed by your best friend. I can't lose weight, for example, right? There are people who are struggling to lose weight for the past few ages. And they're not. Why? Because one really good friend is probably telling them, hey, chodo yaar, how much ever you can't do it. And that opinion itself becomes a belief. Relatives matter, kya ba, you cannot lose weight, man, forget it, right? So friend circle, and you start believing that. And then what happens, no matter how much ever you try, you come back because your habit aligns with the belief you have inside. Now, all these opinions could either be deletions, distortions, or generalizations. They may not be all, but they can be either. Probably the best friend is telling you, hey, you can't lose weight. Just a statement like that, right? Or all people like you are fat. All people like you got three body structures. Some people are there, even if they eat less, they put on weight. So all people like you, your category of people, cannot lose weight. That's a generalization, right? And you start believing it. So how do we deal with this? You have to break the pattern, right? So how do you break the pattern? You have to recognize the pattern first. How are you actually installing this software inside you? ये सब हार्डवेयर की बात नहीं है. हार्डवेयर सबका ठीक है. The problem is the software. The software installation which you are enabling is not somewhere in the wrong format. So what do you do? First, we have to recognize, right? I'll give you an example. This is a typical example I give because it's quite relatable. I'm sitting at the table having food. The entire family is having food, and my wife tells me, "Can you get the salt?" So I get up and I walk towards the kitchen, and I keep asking, "Where is the salt?" And she says, go into the kitchen, right side, top shelf, right corner, the bottle with the yellow lid. And as I'm walking towards the kitchen, I'm telling myself, I don't know where the salt is. 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 This is what is going on inside my head. And then I'm turning back and asking, where's the salt? And she keeps repeating, go inside, right side, top shelf, right corner, the bottle with the yellow lid. So I go there, open the shelf, look at the shelf, and I look around and then I said, I can't find it. Where is the salt? She finally gets tired of my question. She gets up, comes, stands right next to me and points right in front of me in the shelf and says, what is this? And the bottle was right in front of me and I could not see it. This happens to all of us. Where is my socks? Where are my shoes? All this happens. Why? Because we keep on doing something called as incantations. This is one of the root causes of installing a belief inside us. What is an incantation? It's called tasbih. When you repeat a sentence again and again and again, it concretes inside our unconscious mind and conscious mind. So if I keep telling, I don't know where the salt is, I don't know where the salt is, I don't know where the salt is, what happens? My brain shuts off from seeing the salt itself. It's called a scotoma. We've got blind spots inside our brain. It activates. I can't do this. Imagine you say, I can't drive a car. I can't drive a car. I can't drive a car. What happens to you? You'll be blinded. You'll be confirmed. You'll be convinced that you will never be able to drive a car. Beware. It is not about others. Others might give you 100 opinions. It's you who are installing those opinions and making them concrete. Take responsibility. The 20% of the world's population takes responsibility for what they say to themselves. They don't freewheel. They don't flirt with themselves. They are very firm in incantating. If they incantate something, they would always say something really powerful and good to themselves. From today onwards, take it up as a challenge that if you speak to yourself, you will never, ever repeatedly incantate anything negative. Take it up. Take it up as a challenge, right? This is the biggest favor you can do to yourself. It's the first thing, incantation, right? I hope you're all with me on this. The second one is intensity, right? As we speak to ourselves inside, there is an intensity at which we speak. Gym ko jayenge. What is the intensity? It's not going to happen. Dekhenge, gym ko jayenge. The intensity itself shows that it's very dhila, right? It's not very firm. You've not got conviction in it, right? The way you say things to yourself should have an intensity. I will do this. I want to do this. Think about this sentence. I want to do. How does it feel? I want to do is like a dream, right? Most of us speak to our own selves, our own beliefs in this format. I want to lose weight. You'll never lose weight, boss. I will give you a guarantee. Because you are very dhila in your own way, the way you're telling yourself. I want to lose. I must lose weight. Never. Correct? Dekhenge. I think I should quit smoking. Will you quit? This kind of a dhila statement? No way. Your belief system is so dhila. It is so, it's so unconcrete. Your belief is very fluid, and the stronger belief is actually playing the fool with you. The stronger belief is, I love smoking. Look at the intensity, right? I love smoking. I love eating the pizza. Wow, pizza ka to uska intensity of representation and the belief is so different. You're cheating yourself. No matter you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of rupees on the gym, it's not going to happen unless you repair your stuff inside. I discourage people, especially weight industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why I'm specifying this particular example. If you at all, you want to really do something for yourself, start at home. Do a 1 hour or half an hour or a 45-minute regime at home. If you're able to establish that, then go and enroll into the gym. Don't waste your money otherwise, right? Intensity matters. The way you say to yourself matters. Third is questions. The way you question is very crucial, because questions are answers. The moment you ask one question to yourself, you're going to get a flurry of answers. Can I do this? No, you can't do it. Who's going to answer? You're going to answer. You're going to ask a wrong question and you're going to answer yourself. Can I do this? Karke puchenge, to what are the answers you'll get? Why am I fat? I'm taking the same example again. Why can't I do public speaking? Because you're scared, because you don't have a good personality, because you don't have a good voice, because you don't have training. The moment you ask one wrong question, you get 100 wrong answers. And that creates a belief. You need to know how to ask an empowering question. Empowering questions lead to empowering beliefs. What kind of question you should ask? How can I lose weight? Can I lose weight? Is a disempowering question. How can I become fit? How can I build muscle? How can I have 6 packs? Is a very empowering question, because it will tell you, yeah, you need to do this. You need to do this. You have to start with baby steps. You have to go up. You have to take training. You have to have a regime. It will give you answers. We do not have the wisdom of asking the right questions. We bungle up very badly with ourselves. And questions are the software of the brain, right? So 3 things. First one is incantation, which is repetitive telling something to ourselves. Second is the intensity, the way we ask, the tone in which we tell. How do you tell when you have a headache? How do you usually say, I've got a terrible, headache. Like, that's the intensity, correct? And it matters. Intensity matters. Questions, ask the right questions. And the next, excuse me. So there's something called as reframe and represent, which I'm going to talk about. Now you see a picture on the screen. What do you think the picture is? Unmute if somebody wants to answer. And those who have probably not interacted with me earlier. What do you think? What do you think the picture is? Yes, sir.
Father, might be a father talking to a daughter.
Okay, great. Thank you. See what happened?
Okay.
What did I just prove? That our brains have another beautiful power, and that's the power of assumption. We all the time are ready, waiting to assume. We are not there training to assume. We are waiting to assume. It's already installed and ready. Assumptions is a part of our nervous system. But as I said, anything is a blessing. It's your choice. What you're going to do with that blessing of, that capability of having you to assume things. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to convert that into a blessing for yourself? Are you going to convert that into a pain for yourself? You have to decide for that, right? So the other thing, apart from, we spoke about incantations. You have to convert them to positive incantations. We spoke about intensity, convert it to positive intensity, or choose your intensity wisely. Questions, you have power questions and LBQ. LBQ stands for leg breaking questions. These are questions you may ask to dismantle a limiting belief. For example, you have a limiting belief of, I can't speak in public. So that, or it could be in the form of for example, generalization. I just spoke about generalization. Nobody understands me. If you're used to saying that nobody understands me, a leg breaking question could be, nobody. The moment you say that to yourself, nobody, ye sach hai kya? The leg automatically breaks, because it's not the truth. There are some people who understand you, right? So what happens to your belief? It cripples and crumbles down. If somebody has a belief saying, I can't speak to people, really? You can ask that, really? You speak to others, no? You speak to your family, you speak to neighbors, you speak to your friends. So you can speak to people, right? It crumbles down a belief. It brings down one leg at least. That's what is called leg breaking questions. So use questions wisely. Third is assumptions. Just now I spoke about it. So these are the 4 areas in which we operate within our brain and nervous system to install beliefs and reinforce beliefs or accept beliefs. These are the 4 solid axes, right? So the last one is assumption. So what do you need to do? Presuppose or assume good. Every time you have, like for example, that assumption of that picture, you assume that somebody is sitting with somebody, right? So you should have said, show the complete picture, boss. How can I tell, right? Most of the time we believe the moment the WhatsApp comes, the moment somebody tells us something about us, we just tend to just believe it. Why not assume otherwise? Why not pick up this capability of assumption and convert it to say that, wow, somebody comes and say that person cheated. You say, we don't know his situation here. Why do we judge? Correct? You cut it off. You actually delete the entire information because you don't want to carry all that rubbish with you. What do the 20% of the world's population do? They have this unique capability of doing something called as presuppose. I'm going to give you 5 presuppositions today. And those 5 presuppositions are going to be your good work at home. I would like you to pick out one incident, one story, or one something which has happened in your life, which can give you an understanding that these are universal presuppositions. What are presuppositions? You're already having an installed software. You install the software now, right? You install these set of beliefs. These are set of beliefs. The moment anything comes as an information, you'll automatically, because you have this 10 beliefs with you, it automatically counters these, anything which is coming inside. Any information which is coming or any belief which is forming, you will be able to check. It's like almost like a litmus test. It will check the beliefs and accept it or reject it based on this. So these are some of the empowering beliefs which the extraordinary people have, right? So I'm just going to take you to that. Before that, I think I've skipped one slide. Anyway, these are 3 questions which the extraordinary people ask as well. Before we go to the presuppositions, these are 3 questions which people ask before accepting any information. Is this statement absolutely true and authentic? They will put the test of truth first. Ye sach hai kya? If somebody comes and says, you're nothing, man, you're no good, man, you are good for nothing. So ask this question, is it true? Who is he to tell you? Or who is she to tell you this about yourself? You know yourself better, right? So it may not be true. Is it a positive statement, view, opinion? If somebody is putting you down, if they're not giving you feedback, they're giving you criticism, you have to check their intent, right? Are they actually trying to help you out? Are they wanting to put you? If they're wanting to put you down, just delete it. Is this of any use to me or others? These 3 questions will enable you to take information, opinion, or generalization, distortion, or deletion in the right format. Whether you want to accept it or reject it, it will give you a benchmark. Now, presuppositions of the extraordinary. 20% of the world's population have 10 beliefs. In that 5 beliefs is what I'm sharing with you right now. The first belief is everything popular may not be right. I want you people to please go back, do some good work, try to see these 5, what example can you bring out to prove these sentences? And these are very powerful sentences. Everything popular may not be right. It's a generalized sentence, right? It's a generalization, but it's a very powerful generalization. What happens to you? You'll not tend to believe everything which the world tells. You'll try to check it out. Second one, we have within us all the resources we will ever need. This is a belief which the people carry. Others will keep telling, no, I don't have this. I didn't have a good education. I had a very bad upbringing. My childhood was not good. My college was not okay. Because these are all the excuses or beliefs they have to allow them to do what they are right now not doing. To enable them not to do the things which they have to do. These are the excuses people give, right? This gets you rid of all those excuses. We have within us all the resources we will ever need, or I have within me all the resources I will ever need. If you believe that you're the best creation in the universe, then you will have to believe this, because you're installed with such lovely capabilities. It's just that you have not discovered it. Next, everything happens for a purpose and it is best for me. These are just the 5. There are 5 more. These are the first 5. I want you to pick up one incident, one story, one thing from your own life to validate this. You have to validate these to me. The next session, I request you to validate this for me. You don't have to be the best to reach the finish line first, or you don't have to be the best to reach first. I don't have to be the best to reach first. Imagine what kind of power it gives you. Some people say, no, I have to do this, that, training, wo karna, ye karna. 20 years ke baad, I will give an attempt, right? This takes care of the entire thing. I don't have to be the best, but I can still make it. People are my greatest resource and I must pass the good forward. People are my greatest resource and I must pass the good forward. These are 20 of presuppositions which act as a solid foundation beliefs for you for different areas. The 6 or 7 areas of life which we have told, these are very powerful. They will absolutely take care of all your assumptions. They will take care of all your, anything which is coming to you as information. It will have to go through this. It will have to filter. If you install this as belief, and these are copied from extraordinary people of the world. So I hope you can do this. You can, do this as a good work back home and come back in the next session. I will now open the session for the question answers or discussions. We can have some discussions and end the session. We have 15 minutes to it. Meanwhile, for the benefit of those who missed out this slide, it's about the United Foundation. We've been working for the past 3 to 4 weeks on immediate relief operations for the daily wage workers and the destitute. By God's grace, we have together formed a coalition called the Mercy Mission across Bangalore. We've been able to do 44,000 kits of 1,500 rupees each. We've chosen the lowest and the low and the desperate people for that. We've also delivered the ration to their houses. We've selected beneficiaries who are very dire. And we've also set up a kitchen which has dished out more than 1 lakh meals. We have totally 13 kitchens, and I think we have done about 3.5 lakh meals totally. The United Foundation kitchen itself has dished out 1 lakh meals plus. So to donate, you can reach out to any of the volunteers. You can reach out to me. All right, I think it's 2:30. We'll have to close the session. Thank you so much. And as I expressed, be warriors of goodness and warriors of change all the time. We are here for a very limited period of time in this world, and it's an opportunity. The world always will throw up crisis, and out of crisis, we have to make the best of our lives. And then in that, the beauty is that if you start making the best of your lives, there are a lot of people around you who will be inspired. And that would be a great place to be in. Welcome to the 20%. Thank you so much. And we look forward to your inputs. I think Saturday is the next session. Please put forward your timing request privately to Neha, and we will see how best we can accommodate having a time suitable for everybody. Thank you. Have a great week ahead.